I am motoring out of Stavanger, where I've had 2 good days of rest. Yesterday I spent doing various boat jobs, servicing a winch that had gone stuck, repairing another winch, and I started looking for the leak that I talked about in my previous video. I didn't find it until this morning, where I saw a pinhead hole sized leak from a freshwater tube leading to the foot pump in the galley, in the aft head. And I then had to repair it, and it was not that easy, but I ended up with a solution where I made a band-aid of gaffer tape and thick plastic, with a thick plastic facing the tube, and then I wrapped the plaster around and then pressed a hose clamp around it, and that seems to have fixed it for now anyway, but it's clearly a temporary fix. Anyway, I hate having leaks, so this was a good step. Now, where am I going? I'm on my way to Lysefjorden. I want to go and see a Norwegian fjord, perhaps even go and moor there and spend a couple of days, depending on what the conditions are like. I will see how that develops. So I'm quite excited that I should be going past Lysefjorden, the very tall cliff that is by Lysefjorden. Well, it's a drizzle, let's just put it like that. It's kind of grand to look at with all of these black and dark brown colors, but I wouldn't mind if the sky cleared. We're sailing almost on a broad reach down Lysefjorden, and I've just unfurled the Genoa and let the mainsail be, because I'm not going very far today. I only have about 5 nautical miles left. I had to stop for diesel in the middle, so I decided just to go very slowly. I'm not in a hurry, so might as well do 2 knots of speed over the ground and take in all this lovely scenery on the way. I rolled up the Genoa, and we're now motoring down to Farsand at the entrance of Lysefjord. It is over there on the port side. I can't really see it yet because of the mist, but it's not far away at all. Here's the entrance to Lysefjord. One can sort of barely make out a huge fjell on the right, and otherwise it's rain and mist. Something big over here as well, but I'm just going to wait for the buoys, red and green, and then turn to port and see if I could be so extremely lucky as to tie up at Farsand. I think there's only one place at the pier where it's deep and long enough for me to stay, so I should have to be incredibly lucky. We'll see how it goes. It's 4 p.m. and we are tied up at Farsand next to this lovely Dutch yacht. Pretty nice, eh? Well, the saga of leaks continue. I also found green liquid in the sump of the boat, and deduced that that was probably cooling liquid. Then eventually I discovered that this cooling hose, which connects the engine to the water heater to heat up water, had rubbed against this flange, or this flange fitting,
eating away at it. So you see all the black stuff down here is remains of hose that's been worn off or torn off. That's what was leaking. It's a very strong hose containing metal wire, so it hadn't worn completely through, but it was obviously worn so much that it was leaking somewhat. So now I've tried my unpatented solution once again, a band-aid made with gaffer tape. I fixed strong plastic from a strong plastic bag on one side, wrapped tightly around, and then with a hose clamp at either end. And I've tested around the engine, and it doesn't seem to be leaking anymore. And of course now I've secured the hose to this other hose, the exhaust hose, with a tie, so that it won't happen again. Yeah, it's just one thing after the other. I was afraid that it was our fine new stern pipe install that had started leaking, but that doesn't seem to be the problem. It is clearly a hose that was loose.
Well, seems to be okay. That's amazing.
Well, it turned out that mooring where I was problematic, because one of the ferries that go by regularly has far too much speed and creates an enormous wake. So it was an accident waiting to happen to be moored up alongside another boat, even though I had all my fenders out. It just looked, it could go terrible. We would go up and down more than 1 meter relative to each other when the wake came. So it was bad. So I decided to head in and see if I can use an anchorage instead. There aren't many of them because the sides slope so steeply on this fjord. But I'll try my luck. It's 6 o'clock, so it had better work. It's getting dark, not too far from now. So very interesting and very pretty. Wow, this looks like a perfect anchorage. Much better, I think, than being moored under those dangerous conditions. This will be interesting. This is absolutely brilliant. What an anchorage. 3 minutes to 7 in the evening. Very quiet. And very beautiful. Lysefjorden is the name of the place. So this is the famous Prædikestolen, I believe, where you can stand right at the ledge and look several hundred meters straight into the abyss down to Lysefjorden. Well, I'm heading back to near Stavanger to get my cooling hose fixed so that I can sail comfortably or confidently again. So here's one of these terrorists that make it very difficult to use the harbour at Forsand because of the wake. Thursday 24th of August at 2:30 p.m. I am now docked in a harbour next to a Volvo Penta mechanic on the island of Bouøy. I hope that they can help me replace the ruptured engine cooling hose, so that I'll be able to sail without having to worry about that. It does leak, even though I've fixed it as best I could with plastic, gaffer tape and 3 hose clamps. Still leaking, so definitely need a more permanent repair. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Fortunately, it went very well. The Volvo Penta dealer had the kind of hose that was needed in stock. He found out last night and this morning at 6 a.m. Arnstein knocked on the hull and came in, and we did the replacement in an hour.
So this is our new installation with 2 new cooling hoses. One leading to the water heater over here, and one with the return water going back to the engine, so that when the engine runs and becomes sufficiently hot, it will start heating the water in the water heater there. That all works, and as you can see, it's all nice and dry now again. Problem solved.
We're approaching Rosøya, and I'm going to first check possible anchorage, which is particularly well suited for this direction of wind. And then I'm going to check a landing bridge on the other side of the little island, because it has a possibility of going ashore and stretching my leg a bit, which would be nice, but it's facing a northeasterly wind, so it might not be good. I'll check out the 2 places and decide which one I prefer. Well, this little place looks nice, but it's too small. I need more space to be able to turn with the wind if the wind changes. I don't think this is optimal. So I'll go and look at the other place instead. I should be able to see the landing bridge in just a few minutes. Let's see, I see 2 masts. 3 masts, oh, it's not a good sign. Catamaran. Oh well, I'll see what I can manage. This looks doable after that Dutch boat there. If I just swing in very gently, I think I'll be fine. Success. A little bit tight, but perfectly fine and very sheltered and comfortable. My neighbors here helped me with the lines, so it was not difficult at all. So here's the landing bridge on the Motorsailing. Very nice. And I'm making some rolls and some bread. Should be done now. Let's have a look. Whoops. There are the rolls and a loaf of bread. Whoops. There you are. That should keep me going for another week. Yum yum. I thought this was supposed to be non-stick. Oh well, we'll sort that out.